চলার পথে ইউএসএ ব্লগিং এ আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগতম। কেমন আছেন আপনারা? তো আজ আমরা যে ব্লগটি দেখব সেটি হচ্ছে শিকাগোর যে বিশাল বোটানিক্যাল গার্ডেন আছে সেটির উপরে। তো এই গার্ডেনটি আমি এখানকার যে একটি কার রাইড আছে সেটি দিয়ে ঘুরে ঘুরে দেখেছিলাম। তো সেই যে কার রাইডের যে একটা প্রথম অংশ আমি আগে একটি ব্লগে শেয়ার করেছিলাম। তো আজকে হচ্ছে যে সেই ব্লগের যে পরবর্তী অংশ সেটি আপনারা দেখতে পারবেন। তো আশা রাখি আপনাদের সবারই ভালো লাগবে। তো শুরু করি আজকে একটি নতুন ব্লগ।
Oh, hey, you guys want to hop on? Hey, guys, you can feel free to come hop on board. Find any open seats there in that middle or last tram.
এই তোমরা নামলা এখানে?
Kids will learn how to grow flowers as well as food. So not only a great learning experience, it's also a fun, enjoyable time for them. Now the trees here on the right as we pass, closest to the road as well as the path, are ginkgo trees. Now the species of ginkgo are actually the oldest species of trees known. We say this because they have this unusual fan-like leaves. So their fossilized remains were found next to dinosaur bones. Yeah, dinosaur bones. So they've been around for a long, long time. So when those dinosaurs were roaming the earth, ginkgo trees were around.
Hold on.
Okay, Wayne.
Can you stop? Wait,
Yes?
Can you stop?
All right, let me just pull here. Yes?
Yeah, they dropped something, so this one pick it up.
কেন কি ফালাই দিছে আল্লাহ জানে।
Another island. Actually, it's called Bird Island. Now, it's called Bird Island because our resident geese and ducks, they like to stop by and enjoy a little rest and relaxation. Also, birds flying south for the winter and north for the summer also like to stop by for a little rest and relaxation. Now, as we come around, you'll notice on Bird Island, well, there are no bridges or pathways because no humans are allowed. Yeah, so it's only, maybe an occasional gardener or two just to make sure everything is A-okay for our bird friends. Now, also, you'll notice some growth or a lot of flowers actually popping up here on Bird Island. They're called surprise lilies, or some I refer to as resurrection lilies. Yeah, they truly surprised me, seriously. They just popped up about, a few weeks ago. And we were wondering, okay, what is going on? We have our surprise lilies. Surprise! And actually, they'll be around, for maybe just a couple more weeks of 3 islands. Now the first island is called Haraijima, or Island of Everlasting Happiness. Now this island was named after a mythical Chinese island. And actually it's intended to be more symbolic in nature. So no humans are allowed. As you can see, there are no bridges or pathways. So again, just like Bird Island where we passed, no humans are allowed. So there are only 2 of the 9 islands where no humans are allowed, as I said. Also, if you notice as we pass, some boulders and stones along the bottom of the island, well, they're placed there strategically. Why is that? Well, because they represent the bones of the earth. Also, the island represents paradise. So on this late afternoon Wednesday, we're actually passing paradise. How about that? Now the next island, as we pass here on the right, is Sifutu, or Island of Clear, Pure Breezes. Now there's a little clearing of trees between here on the right, and if you notice, you'll see a little house. That's actually an arbor house. Now it represents a place for rest and relaxation. Also, maybe for some thoughtful contemplation as you stroll through the Japanese garden. Now there's another arbor house on the next island, which we'll be passing shortly. Now again, there's a clearing of trees here on the right as we pass. If you look through it, you'll see a stone bridge. That stone bridge is called the Zigzag Bridge. Now it can take you from Sifutu to the next island called Kyoto, or Island of Auspicious Cloud. Here we have, again, the other arbor house, but also a Shoen house. Now a Shoen house was modeled after a summertime retreat for an aristocrat or even a samurai warrior all around the 16th or 17th century. Now it's the centerpiece of the island, and actually it was assembled or made in Japan by Japanese craftsmen. Then delivered here, reassembled by the same Japanese craftsmen to what we see today. Now that island is also the largest of our 3 Japanese islands. Now the trees here on the right, as we pass, I mention them only because, well, one, majority of them are hawthorn trees. That one big one in the middle, that's a cottonwood. But also these trees were here even before the garden started construction. Yeah, so they've been around for a long, long time, even before the garden existed. Now as we come around the side of Kyoto again, or Auspicious Cloud, you can see the other arbor house as I mentioned. And maybe just one final note regarding the Japanese garden. It's intended to be more of a hide and reveal experience, where the sights are actually revealed when you're strolling through the garden. So I'm not sure if you have time today, or hopefully the next time you come and visit us, I do encourage you to explore the Japanese garden. It's a truly amazing place. Now the next garden is here on the right. This is our lab and evaluation garden. It's here where scientists are evaluating various plants, such as shrubs and perennials, to determine what's best suited for a Midwestern garden or similar climate. Now also, if you look to the left, these trees here on the left, these are cottonwood trees. Now if you're from the Chicagoland area, or like myself, born and raised in the city in Chicago, our neighborhoods have cottonwood trees. Yeah. So anytime I pass these trees, I think of my own neighborhood. Also here on the left, as we drive up this building, this is our Plant Science Center. So here's the center of all our plant science research. Inside we have glass windowed labs where scientists, students, and even volunteers are hard at work performing their lab work. Now if you look up top, we have 2 rooftop gardens where again scientists are studying various plants. Also at the bottom, if you look at the bottom, that area of ground gets awfully soggy at times. So what we did is you look closely through some of those plants, you can see pillars. Yeah, pillars. So this building is built on pillars, or as some folks might call them, stilts. And around those pillars, we planted water-loving plants. to create what is referred to as a rainwater glen. Now that's important because it contains stormwater runoff. Well, folks, we're here at our second stop, so if you'd like to deboard, just please do so on the right, and just be careful of oncoming traffic.
Oh, look at that. There's go some scientists.
All right, so we do have some folks off. Okay, just want to make sure everyone is safely seated. All right, great. Also, if you're wondering, on the right, what is that? That's actually a working sundial. Yeah, it's pretty cool, working sundial. All right, so we are ready to continue. And now we're entering the Chris Jarenkowski campus. Now this area was named in honor of a beloved garden executive who worked here for many years. Now as we enter this campus area, a lot is going on. Actually, on both sides of the road, we have our newest garden called the Shida Evaluation Garden. Here we also have a specialty evaluation area for our shrubs and perennials, and vines, and even roses. Actually, it's our 28th garden, and it opened late last year. And as I mentioned, the specialty evaluation area, well, that's important because it actually enhances our acclaimed evaluation program. Also, the trees here that line the road on both left and right, they're bald cypress trees. Also, you probably notice a meandering path that you can walk along and maybe visit some of these gardens, or as our scientists call them, rooms. Now, as you walk through the garden, you notice all our plants, from flowers to shrubs to vines. Well, they have to start out somewhere. And actually, that somewhere, so if you look off to the left, the far left, this is our plant production area. So this is where it all begins. We have outdoor as well as indoor facilities. As a matter of fact, the indoor, these huts, they're called Quonset huts. Inside, we have plants in various stages of plant production. So they're getting ready for display in the garden, so for all of us to view their beauty. Also, in this plant production area, about 250,000 plants go through or come through this area on an annual basis. It's a lot of plants. Now, as we drive up here, or drive through, on both sides of the road, you'll notice some tunnels, like the one here on the left. There's one coming up on the right. Eventually, they're going to be shaded tunnels. The shade's going to be provided by crabapple trees. Yeah, those are crabapple trees. So on a sunny day like today, and if you're strolling through the Shida garden, you need a little shade, well, you can stroll through the tunnels. Now also here on the left, this glass house, this is our greenhouse. A 55,000 square foot greenhouse where we have 37 climate controls. And actually those fans that are running, some of them you can hear, well, they're doing their job. And inside we have about a 12,000 square foot orchid area where we can grow our unusual orchids as well as tropical plants. Also, this area right here, as we're driving through, this is where it all began. So back in 1972, right here is the site of our very first garden, along with a small greenhouse. See, folks, you're driving through history. One last thing I just want to mention here on the left, the screened area. This is where we house our bonsai tree collection. For some, a bonsai tree is an ancient tree, and I'll comment on them before we end the tour. Now, I paused here for a moment because we're going to make a tight right turn. So that means all elbows and hands and arms and legs and feet inside the tram wall. I'm not going to move, sir. I know you want to take some pictures, but if you can move your hand inside the tram wall, please, on the right side. Thank you, sir. It's only for your safety. All right, I think we're good to go. So right now, and I'll just let this bicyclist pass. So right now we're passing through our south weir. Now for some, a weir, this is what we're passing through. We have two bodies of water, and the one on the right is our lake system. The one on the left is our Skokie River. And actually below this bridge is a dam. But we have a weir. Now the Skokie River, I'll comment on a little later, because right now we're entering the Dixon Prairie. Now this is an amazing area here, because at one time this was all flat. So we went along and recreated 6 prairie types. Now maybe some of you might know this, but I'll ask anyway. What's a prairie? Well, if you said grassland, that's exactly right. And that's what we have here. Now the first one on both sides of the road is a bur oak prairie or bur oak savanna. Now you'll notice very few trees here. Well, actually there's a couple here on the right as we pass, but typically in a prairie you're going to find very few trees. Now why is that? Well, because of natural wildfires. Except here in this bur oak prairie, yeah, you might have guessed it, those trees are bur oak trees. And they have a natural fire-resistant bark. So they can withstand or survive natural wildfires. Now they can also be used for a little shade, like maybe some of us probably could use right now in the tram on either side. Also as a landmark as well. Now another prairie type is here on the right. This is a wet prairie. That island is called Marsh Island, an example of a wet prairie. Also, if you'll notice as we pass, there's a little bridge. Well, that could take you to Marsh Island, also Commuter Peak Drive. Now in this Dixon Prairie, we have paths that you could walk along and maybe get a better feel or the sights and smells of a prairie. Now if you look off to the left, this is another prairie type, and actually these yellow flowers here on both the left and the right, well, they're yellow compass flowers. And here on the left, they're part of another prairie type called a tall grass prairie. Now at one time, about 60% of the state of Illinois was covered with prairie. Actually in the Chicagoland area, tall grass was one of the more common prairies. I guess that's why we got the nickname, the Prairie State. Well, right now, it's less than 1%. Maybe we should rethink the nickname. Now, another prairie is here on the right. This hill, this is a gravel hill prairie. Now, way back when, glaciers would have left behind hills of gravel and sand. Those white flowers, actually they're called flowering spurge. Now this prairie is more of a drier prairie than the others because the rainwater would actually run through the gravel and sand. So at the top of the hill, it would bloom earlier than the rest of the prairie. And then that rainwater that would run through the gravel and sand, well, it would collect at the bottom or at the foot of the hill to form another prairie called a fen prairie. And then that water would actually be used as a reservoir for the fen prairie. Now, pretty amazing how it all comes together. Now, as I mentioned, on the left is our Skokie River, which runs about a mile along our west side of the garden. And actually along the shorelines here, we have hundreds of native plants growing. And that's important because it creates an inviting habitat for muskrats and crawfish, as well as turtles, even dragonflies. Oh my! Now the last prairie type is here on the right. This is a sand prairie. Now if you look closely as we pass on the right, those are sand dunes actually. I know it's kind of hard to tell because they're covered with drought-tolerant plants, but they're there, and between them are swales, or this marshy area, to create this sand prairie. Now this type of prairie is found along the southwestern area of Lake Michigan. Now the bridge on the right as we pass is our trellis bridge. That'll take you from the Plant Science Center, which we just passed, to Evening Island, which we'll pass shortly. Also, as we drive up here on the right, you see one of our 10 artist installations. Now this is called the Rookery, and it's created by Patrick Doherty. Actually, it's my favorite of the 10 installations. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's made out of willow branches, matter of fact. Well, folks, we're here at our third stop, so if you'd like to deboard, please do so on the right, or just be careful of any oncoming traffic.
ওই বানাইছে কইলো যে কি যেন ভদ্রলোকের নাম কি উনি বানাইছে
Okay, looks like everyone is safely seated, ready to go. All right. Actually, anytime I stop here, I always this reminds me as I look at it. The medieval castle, maybe in Ireland or sorry about that, in Ireland or England. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right, let's continue. Now, folks and kids, if you look off to the left, you see a birdhouse. This is actually home to our, this is a Purple Mountain birdhouse. So it's home to our Purple Mountains who migrate here from South America. Oh, they usually arrive around mid to end of April. Now, usually some of them are out on the balcony. I think maybe right now it's supper time, so they're probably enjoying a nice meal. Because as I said, they're usually out on the balcony because they're always looking out on the right at this bell
বড় বড়
tower.
মাছগুলো দেখা যায়
Actually, this bell tower is our
ওই যে দাঁড়ায় দাঁড়ায় ওখানে
landmark
বড়
of the
বড় মাছ
garden.
দেখা যায়
It's called a carillon bell tower. Now, it's called a carillon because it's played by a keyboard. Matter of fact, a very large keyboard. Now, it consists of 48 bells. They're casted in Holland, arrived here, 1986. Now, the lightest is about 24 pounds, and the heaviest, about 5,000. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, the bell tower sits on Evening Island, and it's here where we recreated what is referred to as the new North American style garden. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's a garden where we have wide plantings of the same plant type to create, a tapestry or a range of colors. Also, as we pass here on the right, this area is called the Great Basin. And actually, it's my favorite of the garden. The bridge is our Serpentine Bridge, and you can see willows and bookends. They do love water. Also in the back, the other bridge in the back is our Arch Bridge, where some folks are crossing. And as you can see, willows in the area as well. And surrounding the Great Basin, it's about 300 crabapple trees. And actually in the springtime, it's amazing. It's a beautiful sight. Now that Serpentine Bridge will take you to the next garden here on the right called Sensory Garden. Now this is a fun garden because you can actually get in touch with some of your senses, like, smell as well as sight. Now on this side of the garden, you'll find a mini woodland path. On the opposite side or the east side, it's more of a flowery garden. Also, if you explore this garden, you'll find a hilltop, where I think offers a great view of the east side of the garden. Now, next to Sensory Garden is another garden called Enabling. Now, the Enabling Garden, well, first of all, no matter what your age or gardening ability might be, gardening could be a challenge. I know it's for me. But here in the Enabling Garden, it actually shows you how a well-planned space can make gardening for everyone. Also, as we pass here on the right, the bridge, as you can see, well, that bridge will take you to Spider Island, yes. Now, Spider Island is the smallest of our 9 islands. And actually, that bridge is bigger than the island itself. So the design of it makes it look bigger. So besides the bridge being bigger, actually the height of the island makes it look bigger. Now we'll get a better look at Spider Island as we come around. Now if you're wondering, if we do explore this island, are we going to find a lot of spiders? Well, actually not. The name Spider Island, one of our donor's wife was a very, very gentle person. Wouldn't even hurt a spider. So her nickname became Spider, and probably are guessing it right now. So now the donor requested an island be named after her. So as we pass here now on the right, you have Spider Island. You know how it got its name. Actually, the trees as we pass here on Spider Island are white birch trees. Well, folks, we're almost to the end of our tour. I just want to make a couple comments regarding the Regenstein Center. Inside we have 3 greenhouses, an arid, tropical, as well as subtropical. But also, outside of the Regenstein Center, we have 2 courtyards. And in each courtyard, about 16 bonsai trees. Also here on the right, as I mentioned, there's Spider Island. And again, in the two courtyards, as I said, about 16 bonsai trees. Remember those bonsai trees I mentioned when we housed them in the plant science or plant production area? That ancient tree? And actually one of them is about, 600 to 1,000 years old. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then also inside where the greenhouses are located, we have our Flourish, the Garden at 50 exhibit. And I think it's a great exhibit. It offers a great timeline as well as more detailed history of the garden. Now there's one more garden I just want to mention, and that's here on the left by the brick wall. This is Circle Garden. Now it's a small garden, but actually it's big on color. Seasonal plantings here. So right now we still have our summer plants. And I think it's a great spot maybe for a selfie or two as well. Now, as I mentioned, here on the right, there's that bridge. I'll take you to Spider Island. It's actually bigger than the island itself. Well, folks, this ends our tour. I thank you for riding along with me today. Hopefully you learned about a few more places to explore, as well as a better understanding of what we have here in this wonderful living museum. Again, my name is Wayne. Hopefully you enjoy the tour. And also it was a pleasure sharing the garden with you. Hopefully maybe you have some time to